On this week's show, we're following Scott Schultz as he hunts down an Oklahoma giant. This buck has been on our most wanted list for 4 years, and his time is running out. You do not want to miss this episode, a ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. ScentBlocker. Nothing gets you closer. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. Browning. The best there is. Cuddyback. Designed in the USA with quarter-second trigger speed. And Tree Spider. The new world of tree stand safety.
We're headed to the Turley Ranch in the northwest corner of Oklahoma. Until recently, this ranch that surrounds the Ouachita River Valley has been a sleeper spot for really big white-tailed deer. The Turley is a working cattle ranch that raises prime red Angus beef, but they also raise prime white-tailed bucks that call the Red Hills home.
3 years ago, Larry got an invitation to come to this big ranch in western Oklahoma called the Turley Ranch.
My first time hunting this ranch in 2007, I seen this giant six-pointer, and I mean a monster.
Well, Larry had no sooner got there and got to look around, and I got a call on my cell phone. Larry said, "You have got to get down here. You're not going to believe this place." Well, when Larry says that, I pay attention. It ended up the following year, Larry and I were in a tree together, and we were overlooking this big area, and we could see deer for miles. There was this one big long food plot. Every night had a couple hundred deer come out, and in that food plot, there were 2 deer that just stood out head and shoulders against everything else. There were deer everywhere, and right away, first day, we saw some of these really big deer, and there was one giant 8-pointer. I ended up calling him TV antenna. His horns just went out, and he had a big splayed open rack. It was 25 inches wide. This was quite a ranch because it had very limited hunting, and there was age structure from very young deer up through the mature deer, and we were seeing some really giant mature deer. That first year, Larry and I tried every tree we could get in to try to get close to one of those big bucks. Finally, on the very last day, I was able to get an arrow into one of these great big deer. It was the last day of the hunt, and as we settled into our stands early in the darkness, it was cold, 15 degrees, crisp, clear, perfect morning. And as dawn started to unfold, there in the early light was that big buck.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Matthews Solo Cam, catch us if you can, and Rage, leading the evolution in lethal technology.
The buck was obviously nervous and he looked up at our tree several times. I was obviously nervous. I had hunted this buck 6 days and this was my last chance.
I got him. I think I just shot the biggest deer in my life. Oh, what a monster. I can't believe it. He just came right in this morning. It was still just barely light. I saw him coming and I saw this giant deer. Oh my word. Oh man, I can't believe it. That is a huge, huge deer. Oh, I'm so excited.
The quality of the video is going to be a little jerky because of the shutter speed, and I got it on high gain, but it might not be regular high definition TV quality, but we had to do it on a world-class animal.
We had to do it. I mean, you can't say no.
You looked at me and like, here he comes, but it's too dark. And I'm like, screw TV, man. That's a world-class deer. Do it.
I said to you, you got to make that camera work. Somehow, you got to get that on film. Holy cow. Oh, here, look, look, look. Ooh, does that look good? That Rage. Boy, he's all bent up. Oh, that's good blood. That's good, good. Here's some blood right here. Oh, that's good. I'm so happy to find that. I saw that lighted knock flick a little bit, and I should have shot clear through him, and it stayed in one piece. It went clear through him. But I hit something hard, the knock has broke off, and that blade is all ripped up. I hope that's a good sign. Here he is. Here he is right here. Oh my word. Ah.
Any ground shrinkage?
Unbelievable. I don't know if this looks like huge big. This is as big as it looks. This thing is enormous big. This is the biggest 8-pointer I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. We have seen this deer time after time after time, and this morning he just walked right to it. The last day of the hunt. We have seen this deer almost every day. Oh, you talk about a gratifying hunt. This deer was a mainframe 8-pointer, 25.5 inches wide inside, and as big and as impressive as he was, he scored 174 inches gross. There was a deer that was definitely bigger than him.
But not everybody has to have a big farm for your product.
No, you're right. It's something that we have customers that have tens of thousands of acres, but we also have customers that have 10 acres or even less. And you know, and that 10 acres or less is just important to that guy as that 10,000 acres is to this guy. What both of those guys want to do is make their property as attractive as it can possibly be to get deer to spend as much time as possible on that property, as opposed to maybe cutting a corner or crossing through every now and then. And one of the main things they can do is create a somewhat of a, if you will, a sanctuary, a comfort zone where deer aren't going to be just pressured out of it all the time, especially on a smaller property, but also provide them good quality, attractive food. And again, Whitetail Institute has got the most attractive products. If you've got it on your place and your next door neighbor's got something else planted and the deer standing on the fence, he can go wherever he wants to go. He's going to be coming your way. So make your property as attractive as it possibly can. Try to have a comfort zone for the deer where they're not pressured all the time, good quality food, and hopefully a water source. You can make your property, of course, a deer is not going to spend his entire life on 10 acres, but he'll spend more of his time on your place, giving you more opportunities to harvest.
It's going to be northeast this afternoon, you think?
Yeah.
so in an angle kind of like this. So
It's just exactly the wrong direction. You know, the wind's blowing this way, and that's the deer come right through here, and this way it's the worst wind.
there's a stand down here in a great big cottonwood, northeast wind, like this.
Yep.
But all the deer movement is more or less going to be to the good side of this tree there and right across the creek over here. For him this evening, with the northeast wind, what's your opinion?
It's perfect time to be right there.
Okay.
That was
The big cotton.
our choice. Absolutely. That's where you just went over that.
Well, it's our first day in Oklahoma, and it's windy and cold, exactly what we were hoping for. It had been real warm. They got a bunch of rain. The deer are out moving. We're pre-rut. We're set up here between a big food plot here to the north, and all around us down here is huge bedding area. So tonight we should see a lot of deer coming past. It's a great crossing area. So it's still early afternoon. We've got about 4 hours till dark. We're pretty excited. We're first day here. We're looking forward to this hunt all year. Let's see what happens.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by the Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. And S4 Gear, meeting the demands of nature and those who tame it.
This year, Tony and Lori put out a lot of cutting backs. And as you can see, they're not hurting for deer. But the big wide was nowhere to be found. Until October. Lori was checking the cards and spotted him. The giant was still alive and growing more points than ever.
Well, this is one of those good news, bad news deals. Finally, Lori found the buck. The good news was he was no longer a giant 8. He had grown G4s, and he was now a giant 10. The bad news was he was no longer in this one area where we saw him so much the year before, but he was spread out over a couple miles across the farm. As we arrived there in mid-November, my mind was on one deer, and it was my most wanted for a year and a half coming, and that was this giant wide 8 that had turned into the giant wide 10. You know, this deer's picture was welded into my mind from watching him the year before. As a matter of fact, we had video that we watched over and over. This deer was so wide that when he walked away, and you got a real view of the width of this deer and the mass and the height, it was almost comical. It looked like it couldn't be a white-tailed deer, and especially in the arid area of western Oklahoma.
It's getting towards evening, and we're starting to have a lot of deer come out here in this food plot. We can see a couple pretty good bucks. They're about a quarter mile off, but it's encouraging to see them come out. There's a lot of good deer here. We just haven't had any luck here at the tree yet. It'll be interesting to see what all comes out in that field. There we go. Can you get him? Yeah. Are you getting him? Yeah. That's a big one. Wow, look at that. That's him. That's my giant buck right there. That's him right there. Do you have light? He's coming right now. He's coming. want to shoot him. Get ready.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by IQ, center the dot for the perfect shot. Block, history's toughest target. And Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by Winchester Rifles and Shotguns. Trust your hunt to a Winchester. Mission Archery. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. The Redemption muzzleloader from LHR Sporting Arms, made for a lifetime, not for a season. And Gilberth's Taxidermy, the official taxidermist of ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
Here we go. Can you get him? Yeah. Are you getting him? Yeah. That's a big one. Wow, look at that. That's him. That's my giant buck right there. That's him right there. Do you have light? He's coming right now. He's coming. Get ready. I'm going to shoot him. Get ready. Get on him. Are you on him? Yeah. Meh, meh. You on him? Yeah. Stay on it. Is he going down? Stay on him. Stay on him.
The light was low, and Scott and Josh were so excited they had just put down the king, they didn't even notice this coyote had tried to take him down too. It even came back and started eating on the deer before Scott and Josh climbed down. Simply amazing.
That was him. That was him. We were about to get down. I don't know how much light you have, but that was the giant. That was the monster we've been after. For 2 years we saw that giant. He came right here, 30 yards. Oh, did you see? Did you get all that? I can see him. He's laying out there in the field. He went down. I thought we were going to... I was sitting here disappointed. I'm thinking, man, we're not having much of a night at all. I threw my binoculars in the bag, and I saw something back there. I turned back, and I saw him just like that. I knew right away who it was. See how dark his horns is? He's huge. Give me some, man. Give me some. I can't believe it. That is a giant deer. You wait till you see this. This is a big, big deer. I can't believe it. You go from nothing to there he was. He ran 150 yards and went down right in the field. Oh, Josh, I can't believe it.
Larry,
Yes, sir.
the giant is dead.
Are you kidding?
We just shot him just a few minutes ago, just right at dark.
Seriously?
He's laying out here in chicken strip. True story. He is a giant. I'm telling you, I don't even know how big he is. He's just a giant.
You better not be messing with me.
Huh?
You better not be messing with me.
Oh, I'm not messing with you.
That's why we come to Turley Ranch down here in northwest Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Then you're 10
What
miles away.
What a
Okay, great. Good
deal.
deal. We're just coming out. We will see you guys, and his G4s are short. When he's 25 inches wide, the G4s are only like 5 inches long, and they look short. Look at that little, how little his Prius face is. Don't you recognize his face?
Oh, absolutely.
We saw him so much.
Absolutely.
We know him. And you just look at his neck. He's not a really big deer. But you look how, like from his eye to his nose, look how short that is.
But he's not a young deer.
No, you look at the side of the bases coming out of his
We
head.
know last year he was mature. He was at least 4 years old to be the kind of deer he was last year. And he's older than that now. I mean,
yeah, how do
it's
you
just
get...
impossible for him to have been a 3-year-old as big as he was last year. But he does have a short face. He's kind of a gray deer.
Yeah.
And
just unbelievable. I still can't get over it.
hey, Scott, good job. I don't know if you can hear me on the other side of the valley here.
We're long distance.
Oh my God. Hey, folks, this 2 years in a row now, he has taken a world-class deer here in northwestern Oklahoma to Turley Ranch. Does it get any better than that?
It doesn't. And this is amazing. I've dreamt about this deer since last year. When I saw him tonight, I almost fell out of the tree. Fortunately, I had enough left in me to get my bow and stick a good shot in him, because here he lays. I'm so happy.
And when we showed up here yesterday, you know, Tony and Lori had been sending you cutty back pictures of this deer for the last month.
Yep.
And he was right back at his home territory here. And he was definitely on our most wanted list for this trip.
Almost dark, we were almost out of camera light, but that whole thing, just reliving it over and over in my mind, a tremendous experience. So we talk about ScentBlocker Most Wanted. This indeed was my most wanted deer, and here it is in my hands. I couldn't be any happier.